In this lesson, we're going to compare the characteristics of acids and alkalis. Now, the first question here is, what do they taste like? So let's have a think about acids first. Well, here we've got a couple of very common acids that you can find in the kitchen. Now, you've probably tasted these before. This is a lemon and some vinegar, and you will know that they taste sharp. What do they feel like to the touch? Well, lemon juice, vinegar, they feel watery. Now, I'd just like to emphasize this so that you've got this absolutely clear. If you want to taste or touch an acid, then you can taste or touch these substances here and nothing else, lemon juice or vinegar, but no other substance in your kitchen, please, because you do not know whether that substance may be harmful or not. What about whether an acid or alkali corrodes, for example? Now, corrodes means, does it dissolve other substances? Well, let's have a look at acids. So one substance that acids will dissolve, and either lemon juice or vinegar will do this, is metal. And we've got an example of a galvanized screw. And the word galvanized basically means that the screw is made out of iron, but it is coated with a metal called zinc. Okay, and zinc is quite a reactive metal, and you will notice that if you put this in lemon juice, then immediately you'll see bubbles of hydrogen forming as the zinc dissolves in the acid. Okay, hydrogen gas will be given off, and it'll very quickly lose this shiny coating. Okay, so acids corrode metals. Okay, and below that we've got an example of a gargoyle from an old church, and you can see that this poor fellow's been quite eroded too, and this erosion has been carried out by rainwater, and rainwater is a type of acid. It's a very weak acid. The erosion is carried out over a long period of time, but it happens because acids dissolve the substance from which the gargoyle is made, which is a rock called limestone. Okay, and limestone is made from a chemical substance called calcium carbonate. Okay, so that's the second type of substances that acids will corrode, of which limestone is an example, and also, for example, seashells, bones, etc. These are all made from calcium carbonate. Now, acids will also corrode organic material. Now, here we have a rather unpleasant photograph here. Somebody has spilt an acid on their hands, and as a result the acid has dissolved the skin. Now, I've put this here so that you know that acids can be very, very dangerous. So you can get acids that are a lot stronger, for example, than vinegar or lemon juice. And for that reason, we need to be very careful when we're dealing with acids or alkali. So let's make a note of that. Acids will also corrode organic materials, such as clothing and skin. Okay. Now, the last question refers to ions. Now, we'll learn more about these in the next lesson, but ions are charged particles, and both acids and alkalis produce ions, but they produce different types of ions. Now, an acid will produce something called a hydrogen ion. Okay, let's make that right, and the symbol for hydrogen is H, and ions are charged particles, and the hydrogen ion has a plus charge. It's a positive charge. It looks like that. And it's precisely this hydrogen ion that makes lemon juice feel sharp or vinegar feel sharp, and it's also responsible for the aggressive corroding of various materials. So let's have a look at alkalis. First of all, what do alkalis taste like? Well, if you really want to find out what an alkali tastes like, one thing you could do, and this is about all you can do, because you should never touch or taste chemicals at all, as a general rule. But if you really want to find out what an alkali tastes like, well, just wet your finger and rub it on some soap and taste that. I mean, it doesn't taste very nice at all, so I don't even recommend that. You will find that alkalis taste sour. And what do they feel like to the touch? Well, just like this piece of soap, alkalis feel soapy to the touch. Okay. If you take some baking powder and put some on your hand and then wet that, you'll find that the solution feels soapy, slippery. And what about corrosion? Well, as a general rule, alkalis corrode organic materials, and for that reason they are commonly used as cleaning materials in the house. For example, here we've got an example of a couple here. Soap, which is used to clean our bodies. It actually corrodes the layer of dead skin on the outside of our bodies and helps to keep us clean in that way. And baking powder can be used to clean kitchen surfaces. And what about the ions that alkalis produce? Well, whereas acids produce hydrogen ions, which are positively charged, alkalis produce something called hydroxide ions, and we'll learn more about these in the next lesson. And these consist of a pair of oxygen and hydrogen atoms joined together chemically, and they have a negative charge.